But imagine wanting to take your son or your daughter to the fair. See the bright lights of the fair and the sounds and all of that. But when you get to the fair, it's so loud. All your kid, your son or your daughter, all they do is cover their ears and they're yelling and they're screaming because they can't handle. Their ears are so sensitive.
The possibilities that he may never be able to communicate "I love you" or even to be potty trained.
To school, you're ready to enroll them in school, and they just kind of sit there with a blank stare on their face, or they're not able to actually say their ABCs,
or to say I miss you, or I care about you, or to be able to speak any kind of words whatsoever.
And imagine that the only way you can talk to your child and understand what they have to have the point. Just imagine that being the case for your child. That's why people need to know more about autism. We need to get the awareness out. We need to spread the word so people can know that it is affecting lives. My son, my youngest son, Reese, he was diagnosed with autism about 4 or 5 years ago.
He was diagnosed with autism at around the age of 4.
So we didn't really know a whole lot about it, but once he was diagnosed, we were kind of taken aback, by it.
Autism is very real, and I really believe that if it had not been for Nicholas, we would still be in the dark about it.
Autism itself is defined as a neurological disorder that affects normal development of a kid. It's impacting 1 out of every 110 kids, but then even closer to home, it's impacting 1 out of every 70 boys.
Originally, it was thought to be a speech delay, but as his doctor looked closer at him to figure out what may be wrong, she asked us if we had considered testing him for autism.
When we got the diagnosis, we were thinking, like, how did we miss this? How come we didn't see these signs? We kind of blamed ourselves, and obviously, as a husband, and obviously my role is to make sure I lead my family in a way that, we can be as successful as we need to be. But, I kind of blame myself because I'm thinking, was I too busy working? Was I chasing the dollar? Was I doing this? Was I doing that? And, my youngest kid, now he's being diagnosed. So we took it kind of hard.
We were devastated. We didn't really want to accept it. And we felt like it was almost like a death.
Nah, I'm not gonna deal with this. No, not him. It was much tougher for me to come to grips with it as a man because this is my son. I dreamed of him, growing up and playing sports, playing football, playing basketball, running around and just doing all those things.
My wife tells people that it takes a special type of parent to raise a child with special needs.
But my wife, her being the strong woman that she is, she accepted it a lot quicker.
I will add to that and say it takes a great community to undergird that family and to be a support for those that are raising children with special needs.
I remember talking to my mom, and one of the things she told me is that the sooner you come to grips with the fact that this is his diagnosis, the quicker you'll be able to get him some help.
When you learn how to help your child, it actually makes life a lot easier and a lot better because you know how to help your child.
She said that's what it's about, getting him some help, and it doesn't say that you're not walking by faith and believing that God is gonna, turn this thing around. Yeah, I believe that, from a godly perspective.
Through the power of prayer, we've been able to see Nicholas kind of blossom into a popular social butterfly almost. And but every child is different, and we have to be mindful that there's not one size fits all solution for autism.
It's tough, but you can get through it.
Every day is a challenge, and every day presents different challenges. And even though it's difficult at times, I think it's really rewarding having a child that has special needs. We are blessed to have a child that is making improvements, even without any of the major therapies or whatnot.
I encourage you to not allow your son or your daughter, if they get diagnosed, don't let that define them, because it's a diagnosis. It's a description. It just describes what they're dealing with, but don't allow that to define your son or your daughter. Because if you allow that to define them, then the likelihood of you disconnecting yourself from it is very high. But I just encourage you, love your son, love your daughter, and just know that it's not the end, but it's actually the beginning.
My wife tells people all the time that an autism diagnosis is not a death sentence. Your life does not end. Your child's life does not end with that type of information.
There are other fathers out there that are willing to join hands with you, lock arms with you, and know that together we can make this thing happen.
I encourage anyone who may not be involved to get involved with any of your local Autism Speaks organizations or support groups, because there are a lot of parents out there that need a lot of support, that need a lot of help.
UAMS has a great organization, Arkansas Children's Hospital, great organizations. You can get help from them. The thing about it is that sometimes you may have to push a little bit to make sure you get what you need. But just know that there are people out there that want to help you. There's a group called Autism Speaks. We have the local Arkansas chapter. Also, Easter Seals is another great organization that's out there and they're willing to help out.
Even though we are really blessed not to necessarily need those certain things, we understand the need and the benefit of having people around and available to provide whatever services that are needed, whatever helps that are needed, whatever supports that are needed to help these families that are dealing with autism.
There's one thing that's out there. Once your child has been diagnosed, it's called the 100-Day Kit, and basically what it tells you, it gives you a breakdown of what you need to know the first 100 days after your child has been diagnosed with autism. I recommend you get that information and go through it thoroughly and connect yourself with as many support groups as possible so that you can know that there's other people that are out there that have got your back.
I applaud the New Perspective Church for getting involved with Autism Speaks, and I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with to help further the cause of autism awareness.
And our walk chairperson, her name is Dawn Itzkowitz. She has done a fantastic job of organizing the walk, and not only that, she has helped pull together a group of people like myself and other committee members to reach out into the community.
Nicholas is doing really good. We're very proud of him. He's really learning how to socialize and talk to people and introduce himself and shake hands, even though we're kind of working on him looking at people when he's talking to them, but that's cool. That's just how Nicholas
is. That after we had him and he got diagnosed, shortly thereafter we had a daughter, and what happened was she wanted to play with Reese. She wanted, she was growing and developing. She wanted to talk to Reese, but Reese really couldn't verbalize. He really couldn't talk to her. And so what she would really do is just, if he couldn't talk, she'd walk away from him. So it almost as if her being around pushed him to learn how to talk quicker, pushed him to learn how to, walk. And so I don't necessarily encourage everybody to go out and have another kid after you've been diagnosed, but I'm thankful that God saw fit for us to have another kid, and, God just kind of set the thing up.
He is in a mainstream class and has been for 2 years, and he's very intelligent and very sweet, and everybody loves him. In fact, when we walk down the hallways, the kids and the teachers alike are all saying, "Hey, Nicholas, hey, Nicholas."
And so I'm thankful for that. But then in 2 weeks, he actually is going to start playing football.
Wow.
So talk about going from this diagnosis, and man, our world is just falling apart, to look at what God can do. That's why October 1st is so important, not only to the kids in Arkansas, but kids nationwide. That's when we're coming together.